Welcome back to Color Class. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
In today's Color Class, we're looking at the 12 palette system, and we're going to be looking at different colors, but seeing how they shift around the 12 palette system.
And I'm going to call this a study guide for you. What I don't want you to get wrapped up in is this the best color for me? We're not doing that today. Mm-hmm. What we're doing is we're taking a random color and we're showing you if that random color was made into a deep winter color, if that random color was made into a soft summer color, what would the change look like in relationship to everything else? Because as you know, so often I say to you, it's all relational. Everything is about its relationship to something else. And it's important for you to see it as a whole in order to understand the nuances of the 12 palette system. Now, we did this with the 6 palette system, and it's worked out very well. And we keep these study guides over on Facebook, where if we go through this too fast, I would strongly urge you to go over there, grab it, just download it to your computer, keep the study guides handy, because I want you to keep in your mind, in your mind's eye, this relationship. Now, what will this do for you? You know, as a color analyst, or even as somebody shopping for clothes or makeup or whatever. By understanding these and by really internalizing these study guides, you're going to be able to go into a store and look at a lipstick and say, that lipstick is a little too clear for me. I'm a soft summer. And even though I'm looking for a red, that one is just too clear. I need something that's a little more muted. And you'll be able to look at the palette of lipsticks in front of your face. You'll be able to know right off the bat which one is right for you.
And I will say a majority of people that we have taught color analysis to, this kind of charts like this where we show each of the different colors and how they shift to each, whether it's a characteristic, whether it's a season, the way that it shifts is the best way to teach this, because you really get the visualization and it kind of just, you start to memorize it. Now you just pick it out and pull it out when you're at the store. All right, so let's dive into our first color, which of course is red. Not only clothing, but it also falls with the lipstick category. You get an idea.
I do red because it's lipstick.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all at some point in our lives want a red lipstick. And so basically if you watched our video that showed the relationship of the 4-season palette to the 12 palette system, and if you've learned the 6 dominant characteristics with us, you know this already. Yep. This is an amalgam of the 4 seasons. When you take the 6 dominant characteristics, include them into the 4 seasons, and suddenly you now have a 12 palette system that takes the 4 seasons and nuances it, makes it a little more perfect for you. So, for example, if we're looking at the classic red lipstick for winter, and this is the Chanel lipstick, this is the Dior lipstick, the top sellers. If you take that classic red, what happens if you're a deep winter? What do you need to see in a lipstick? If you want it to look red on your lips, what do you need to see? This is what you need to see. If you look at under winter, the circle winter, look under deep, it will look like that. Because if you're deep, you're going to make your lipstick look lighter. So if you want to get that particular look, that's the color that you would choose.
And one last thing, I just want to make sure it's clear that this is based off the clear shade. So when we start going into like some of the other seasons, it's not a perfect lipstick shade. It's not a perfect clothing shade. It's just the relationship to the clear red.
That clear red. Now, for example, Sarah made a very good point as we were looking at this chart. And she goes, isn't this a little deep for summer lipstick? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Here, we're just trying to teach you what happens when you do certain things to this red shade to make it more appropriate for these different seasons.
But it's not the perfect shade,
Yes.
just so we're clear.
In fact, we've got another video coming up that will show you nuanced out the red, the green, the blue, and the perfect lipstick and blush shade. So that video is not this video. This is just strictly a study guide so you understand what happens to color. So let's go to summer, for example. What we know is that summer is a more muted shade of winter. And to get kind of into the summer palettes, you add gray. So that's what we've done here. It's a grayer version. And then as you go out toward the outer ring, if you're a light summer, you add a little bit of white. If you're a cool summer, you add a little bit of blue. And if you're a soft summer, you add even more gray. It becomes even more muted. And this works all the way around the circle. Sarah, do you want to talk about autumn since that's you?
Well, of course. And it's the same thing. So you carried on from soft. Autumn has a soft category. And we're really just giving the warmth it needs, but also we're going from soft to the true. Sometimes it's called a true autumn, a warm autumn. It has a couple different names. They're all the same. And then moving a little bit darker into the deep because we sprinkle in a little bit of black in there. So it's just shifting that red, the clear winter red, to be warmer and then move from the soft, which is grayer, and then the true color, which is the warm, and then adding a little black into the deep. And we're just shifting it.
Exactly. And again, spring is kind of the same deal. It's a brighter, we make it brighter. With autumn, in order to make it a little more toward autumn, we add just a touch of Indian red, but for spring we add pure gold. So and I always tell people a fun way to remember this is that if you want to change, let's say you're starting with the winter color and you want to make it a little more like autumn, you add the auburn hair color. Literally out of the tube you add a little bit of auburn to your red and you get the autumn red.
Right.
And if you want to make something go from that winter red to a spring, you add blonde.
Golden blonde.
Exactly. Right. Now, is this ringing a bell with you guys, or is it all coming together for you here? And if you want to make that red more summer color, you add gray. So that's how this works. And the reason hair color is so important is because that's how that color gets shifted into the different palettes. And it's why it looks right. It's why it looks good on us.
Because we're also mixing in hair colors to make the perfect color for you.
Yes.
Next up, pink.
Now, because Sarah was so worried about me showing you this red and the red being a little off for summers, we decided to do pink as well.
Now, I just have to make the disclaimer. This isn't the perfect color. It's just the relationship. It's
just a study guide. Think of it as a visual study guide, a visual aid, or a mind map that you can look at to understand how one season is related to another season, is related to another season. And I think the biggest shortcoming in all of color analysis in the industry is that we look at everything as one little segment of something, a little bitty piece of something. And you might tell a client, well, you're a warm autumn. And then we get all these emails going, well, this person said I was in a warm autumn, but, I changed my hair and I don't feel right in those colors, and it seems to be
right.
As long as you understand these relationships, you'll understand why things happen. You'll understand that if you, Nicole Kidman, for example, I just read an article about how she's saying that she's embracing her age. And so she's no longer dyeing, and she's gray, naturally. She's no longer dyeing her hair red. She's dyeing her hair blonde with some red highlights, just nuanced red. So what she's done now is she's no longer a warm spring. She's nuanced that, and she's moved toward light spring. And once we understand that that the entire palette works this way, then we've kind of got a handle on everything we need to know. So let's start with that winter kind of magenta color. And we want to make it just beautiful for a deep winter. What do we want to do? Add some depth.
Right.
If we want to make it perfect for a cool winter, we add a little bit of blue. We want to make it perfect for a clear winter. We give it a completely unpolluted version of this magenta. In other words, if I were painting and I wanted to mix up this magenta, I would have a little bit of blue in it. I'd have a little bit of white for this particular magenta that we're looking at. But for a clear winter, all that goes away. You need the clearest version of that color. Same with spring.
Right.
With the spring, we add blonde. The blonde,
Yep,
the color of blonde.
A golden blonde.
To this magenta. And what do you get? You get this salmon color. And the clearest version of this kind of salmon color, we show you up for the clear spring. We add a little warmth, and that becomes something that works for best for a warm spring. We add a little white, perfect for a light spring. And we go around the wheel doing that very same thing. Sarah, do you want to take a pass at autumn just for fun?
Oh, of course, because I am typically falling in the autumn category. We have our soft, which of course we're graying it a little bit, we're muting it out. Our warm, we're not doing too much. We want to keep the warmth to it, but the deep is where we get a little bit more black in there, just to deepen it a little bit. So really with moving from that clear winter color, we're adding warmth. We're going a little bit more muted as well. Lastly, we have our blues.
I always love to do mind maps for blues because blues are so easy to understand. They're a primary color, just like red. And I never use yellow because I just don't like it. Sorry.
You don't like staring at a yellow screen?
I don't like staring at the color yellow. I don't know why. It's not my favorite. So you see I've done a lot with the primaries, the reds and the blues. I don't go into yellows much, but blue is a primary color. Red is a primary color. I showed you both of those. Again, winter, you see the clear winter blue. You know, that we kind of start there. And to go around the wheel, I'm going to go in counterclockwise. I'm going to go reverse this time. You go from the clear winter color to a cool winter color. What have I done here? We've added some violet. Remember, on the color wheel, if you want to make a blue look cooler, you can't add blue because it's already blue. What you have to do is go to the cooler side of the color wheel rather than the warmer side. So blue sits right between red and yellow on the color wheel. You definitely don't want to go toward yellow. So you have to go a little bit toward red, which is actually adding just a hint of violet to make it look cooler. So we've done that. We've made a great blue for the cool winter. You want to deepen it for the deep winter. And then we find ourselves in autumn, which also has a deep category. So you see they're not so far apart. One is softer than the other, and one has been warmed for the other. When we're talking about autumn colors, the best way to understand if you're mixing color, add a little bit of the hair color auburn. If your paint is Indian red, which that's the color, add a little Indian red to a blue, and that's what makes it wearable and flattering to somebody who's an autumn. Move it a little bit further, add a little more of that. It gets a little bit warmer, maybe a little bit more toward green. And then for the soft category, you add just a little bit of gray to that mixture, and that's how you get a nice soft autumn blue. Now you're in the summer category. You see two colors next to each other that are soft. One is a soft autumn, one is a soft summer. And then that summer has gone back to being cool, but we've added just a little bit of gray rather than moving it toward green. We've moved it back toward the blue and added just a hint of gray. The cool summer, same is true. You take the clear blue of clear winter and you add gray, and that gives you a little bit of a cooler summer blue. And then you add white to that mixture and then you get something that would be appropriate for a light summer. And then moving up around towards springs, same is true. There are two light colors next to each other, the light summer and the light spring. They're kind of equal in terms of their intensity, but we got warmer again with the spring palette, which is a warmer palette. And then we added even more warmth for the warm spring. And with clear, that color becomes truer and clearer with less saturation.
Now I have to ask, why is spring not as bright and vibrant here?
Because we built it off of one winter color, the clear winter blue. Now, in the real world, when we're picking your colors that are the absolute best for spring, they're going to be turquoise and really vibrant blues. Mm-hmm. But if I went all crazy like that and tried to show you that in this chart, you wouldn't see the nuance in the relationship to each of the others. I can do one of these as a turquoise, and I will do that eventually. But this is just showing you on that one, the clear winter blue, what happens to nudge it into each of these seasons.
Right. So this is not your best blue, but it is the relationship to the clear winter.
Yeah, it's a study guide.
Yes.
And you will ask me, why are you showing me the relationship to clear winter if those aren't my best shades, if I'm a summer or if I'm an autumn? Mm-hmm. I'm showing you that because there will come a time when you're in a store and you will try to determine if a turtleneck is something that you can wear and wear in a flattering way. And knowing this information, rather than being reliant on a color fan or a color wallet or something that you have to have in hand, there are going to be times when you're shopping and you don't have that in hand. And what we want you to do, or with your clients, what we want you to know is how those color fans and how those color wallets were built in the first place. You know, what things went into the thinking of those. And that's what we're showing you here.
Mm-hmm. And this is the best way to learn these 12 palette systems. So, of course, we will have these over on our Facebook page, Color Class Inc. I will have the link in the description below. And if you want to return the favor, since you can absolutely download these and have them with you at all times.
Study guide.
Yes, if you want to return the favor of a wonderful study guide to have with you, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share. All of those things really help us out in building this color analysis community we have. We are so grateful for all of you already because I cannot believe how many amazing people there are out there, and we thank each one of you.
Thousands of you now.
I know. We are having so much fun, and it is such an amazing experience being able to talk color with so many people who love it. So thank you again for helping us build this amazing community. You are amazing. And lastly, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And this has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.